Hi, this is Tammy. This video and this channel's content is meant for those that are 18 and over. Thank you. Hi everybody, this is Tammy and I am here with my very first Christmas in July 2020 video. So this year, I really wanted to do Christmas in July. I have been crafting for probably like a week and a half on Christmas in July items, but today was the first day that I got the chance to do a video. So for my first project I used some of these goodies. So if you want to see what I created, then keep on watching. So these little tins I found in January, I believe, at Joann's. I got them on an after Christmas sale, and I believed I paid 80 cents for them because I'm pretty sure they were 80% off. So they are metal little Christmas ornaments. It's in the handmade holiday, or is part of the handmade holiday craft collection, and it's an ornament, and they were normally $3.99, so 80% off. They were 80 cents. So really cool. So I got a few different shapes, and I've already done 4, and I thought that's all that I had. But then when I started going through some of my Christmas craft bins, I found 4 more. So I was so happy because I really wanted to make more. And I didn't know if Joann's was going to come back out with these this year. I'm hoping that they do, because I would even love to make even more than just these 8. So I used these. And I used this shape, this house, and then I also have a tree shape that I used. And so I used, on one of them, I used this Christmas Wonderland paper collection by Carta Bella that I had in my stash. I've used this in previous years because there isn't a lot of paper in this paper pad. And I used the page that, I think it was even a half sheet, because there isn't another one in that pattern. But it's really pretty. It does show it on the front. This one right here, it doesn't have the deer on it, but I used this, I guess, whatever I did before, I used the part with the deer. So I had this part just with the snow-covered trees. So I used that on one. And then on 2 of the other ones, I used this Kaisercraft Silver Bells paper. This paper pad is so gorgeous. So I used one, and I love it because in the back it has some tags. It has some sentiments, like labels. It has some border pieces. It also has some other shapes that that are already punched. All you just have to do is pull them out. I thought there were stickers, but I guess not. So I definitely used some of those pieces. And then I used this piece here with these beautiful falling snowflakes. And then I used a pink one. Look at those die cuts. These you have to cut out. So those are really pretty. But this is a beautiful paper pad. It's not new. But I've had it in my stash. I even have the larger 12 by 12. But when I was flipping through looking for papers to use, I saw these 2 and I'm like, definitely. So then I used this one also. I love this with these beautiful pink roses and the falling snow. Very pretty. Of course, a lot of it got covered up. And then the last one, I did not have paper. So I have a lot of Snow and Cocoa tags and embellishments. Even the washi tape that I've gotten from Tuesday Morning. I have no paper. Not a single. I don't have a single sheet. I don't have the 6 by 6. I don't have the 12 by 12. I don't know how that happened, but I have none of the paper. So on one of the ornaments, I created a background using this tree washi tape. So that served as my paper. So yes, I don't know how I have all those other pieces but no paper. That's just kind of weird. But anyway, so here is the first one, or these 2 are the ones that I use with the Kaisercraft paper. So here's the one with the silver, and then of course I use a bunch of other embellishments. So I used some of my little reindeer that I've gotten from a seller on eBay, and then some of the larger ones, I keep them all in here, some of these 2. And I got these off of eBay as well. So I used some of those. I used, of course, some bottle brush trees. I used some yarn that I got from a thrift store. And I don't know where that is, but I have a big, huge ball of it. And it's just really pretty because it's not just like one. I love it. It's really pretty. It's a really pretty yarn. And I'm looking for it. I don't even see it. That's kind of weird. Okay. So for this one, and so I painted them all with some chalk paint, which I don't have on my desk right now. And then I glittered the sides with my distressed stickles, which if you've seen any of my previous Christmas in July, you know that I use this all the time. So I use my distressed stickles. And then to build up the snow on the base, I used I pulled out my Snow Tex and opened the jar, and it was hard as a hard as a brick. So I couldn't use that. But I did have this Prima snowflake paste, which is kind of thick too. So it's drying out as well, so I need to hurry up and use this. But I use this to build up the snow banks on my little ornaments. So you can see here the glitter on the sides. That's the distressed stickles. There's the paper in the background. There are the tiny cute little reindeer. And then there's a small little bottle brush tree. And a trick that I learned from a Tim Holtz video, if you want your bottle brush trees to fit right or sit right in your projects and it's going to be flat against something, then to trim the back so that the back is flat. So the front is still rounded, but the back is completely flat. So you can see it fits back against the back panel really nice, and it fits in here pretty cool. So then this is one of the die cut pieces from the collection. I popped that up on like 3 pieces of foam tape. And then you can see the snow paste in the bottom. And then after I packed it on, it was still wet. I put some of the distressed stickles on top of it. And then this is a Mary word that I had, a wood word that I had in my stash. And then I used some Martha Stewart eyelash trim on the top, the bow out of the yarn, and then I put a cute little jingle bell there. So cute. And then I wanted to show you really quick while I'm talking about the jingle bells, how I store my bells. This is one of those little cases that they have at the Dollar Tree. So I put all of my bells in here. This is all of them. I don't have any more. They store in here really nice. It holds a ton. So I just have them all here. And then they sit basically on my on one of my shelves. And I can pull that whole thing out whenever I need a bell. And then, so this is the pink one. So this is the one. So that rose got covered up, but I still love the way that it turned out. These are some little buttons that I had in my stash. I just cut off the shank. You can still see the glitter on the side. There's a bottle brush tree, a larger one, and again I trimmed the back a little bit so that it could fit flush. And then I used a glittered star, and then I just used some pink tulle to be the tie. I just tied it into a bow at the top, but I can also use this as the hanger if I put it on a tree. Then here's one of the wood words that I had in my stash. And I've had these for a while. I don't remember where they came from. I know that one year Joann's had a bunch of like little wood words, and I purchased a bunch from there. But then other years, other places have had wood words, you know, that come out during Christmas. So I'm not sure where this came from. But again, it was just the natural wood color. So this one I colored with the Deco Color gold pen. So I colored that word there. So love, love, love them. So pretty. So here's the one that I used with the Cartabella Christmas Wonderland paper. So you can see there. And I have this whole collection. So I used the paper. The little sleigh is a sticker. I used a little snowman, little cabochon in the back. There's a bottle brush tree. This one I didn't trim at all. I just cut off the little wood piece at the bottom and then stuck the whole thing into the snowflake paste. And then these reindeer are buttons as well. And then this piece here is a chipboard piece from the collection, and this is a die cut piece from the collection. And then this, I believe, is a Jolie's little piece. So I love that one. And then they all came, I'm not sure if you noticed on the other ones that I showed you. They all come with this red and white twine little hanger. So this one matched, so I left it on. The other ones were more shabby and it didn't match, so I took it off and replaced it. But they come with a hanger already. So that's the next one. And then the last one with the snow and cocoa is another tree shape. So this one is inspired basically by this washi tape. The washi tape is just a bunch of trees in different colors. So I just took a piece of cardstock and I traced on all of them. I just took the shape and I traced it onto whatever paper, and then I cut it out. I cut inside the line so that I know that it would fit in there. And then so this one was just a white cardstock, and then I just took the washi tape and just went all the way across the paper as many times as I needed to, as many rows as I needed to cover the whole paper. I glued it into the shape, and then I just pulled a bunch of different bottle brush trees that I had in my stash already and put those there. This one was a taller one, and I just cut it, you know, I made it taller, but I left it to be taller than the other ones. But it's not, it was probably maybe like 3 inches tall, but I just cut off as much as I needed. And then there's one of those other cute little reindeer. This is a wood piece that I had in my stash. I believe it said Santa, and I just covered it with Let It Snow. And this came from one of the little tags, and I think it's the Snow and Cocoa pack. It was either that or the Merry Days tag pack. I'm not sure which one because I keep confusing them. As well as the little kid right here. I'm pretty sure he came from Snow and Cocoa, but I'm not positive. So this was a tag pack. So you can see oh no, you can't. So I backed him with some cardstock to make it a little thicker, because the tags are kind of thin. And then there was a hole at the top where you put like a string through. So I just covered that with a pom-pom. And then that's that one. And I don't think I showed you, but on all of the sides of all of them, I put some kind of something. So this one has washi tape, another washi tape from the Snow and Cocoa collection, that teal gingham. And then this one, I used one of the papers in the collection has a bunch of strips of borders. So I cut this one. It didn't go all the way around, so then I just used this cute little strap to go the rest of the way. And when I painted these, I put paint, like little pieces of paint on the outside edges of the little tins, because I didn't want them to be like perfect or pristine. And then this one, I cut strips from this same paper, and then I just covered it all the way across, all the way around the sides. And then the same with this one. I used this same paper and cut thin strips to go all the way around. But I love the way that they turned out. I can't wait to do the other 4. So that was the first part of my little 10 ornaments, or 10, well, these are ornaments. So also, besides Christmas in July, which like I said, I've tried to do every year, and I've always been inspired to do this by Muriel, who's Miss Cooper's Coop here on YouTube. For the longest, I'm not even sure how many years she's done. I've been on YouTube, I think 7 years, but for the longest time she's done Christmas in July. And I remember I remember the first year that she did Christmas in July, and then like October, November or something like that, she showed all of the stuff that she had already ready for Christmas. And a lot of it she had gotten done during Christmas in July. And I was like, oh my goodness, that's so awesome. I have to do this. I have to follow you, because I always struggle during Christmas, because I like to make a lot of handmade things for family and friends. And so I always struggle with that during the holiday season, because there's a lot of other stuff going on, and then I'm still trying to craft and just, you know, anyway. So since that first year that I saw her during her Christmas in July, the next year I was on board all the way. And I've been doing it ever since. So this was the first project. Also, Evelyn, who is Evelyn01, I think, here on YouTube. I'm not positive. I will put a link to her channel in the description box as well. She has a Facebook group called Made by You. And in that Facebook group, they have a challenge called Pinterest inspired Christmas in July. So I've shown 2 projects so far for the Pinterest inspired. So let me show you. And these have been pinned on in my Pinterest for a while already, because I've had other tins. Like I have this round tin that I've gotten from Daiso, but this is one of the ones that inspired me. And it was does it say? It doesn't say. I'm not sure who pinned it. I'm trying to follow the link to see where it goes, but it's not going anywhere. So I'm not sure who pinned it, but that's one of them. And then this is another one. There's just so many of them. So here's some more. So those are other ones that inspired these tins, and they use Tart tins, vintage Tart tins. And so the next project was inspired by, let me find it, I'm sorry. Oh, here's another one that's a bell shape. So that one's really cute too. And then this one as well. So even though my tins are not actual Tart tins, I still wanted to use them for this particular project. And then my next project, I saw these and I was like, I have got to do those. So these are, the person that posted them is called Home Road, Repurposed and Reloved. So they use vintage Jello molds and vintage buttons to create Christmas jingle bells. And I saw that and I was like, I have got to do that. So I have, a few years ago, I found I think it was like a 12 pack or a set of 12 vintage Jello molds. And a lot of them I painted pink, and I've already used them in previous years for Christmas projects. But I still had 3 left, so I have 2 that I had painted pink, and then 1 that I painted silver. This one I'm going to use for something else. I have 1 other metal project, Christmas project that I want to do, so I will be using that one for that. But here are my Jello mold or vintage Jello mold jingle bells. So the first one, you know I had to do a shabby one. And when I spray painted these, I didn't do them like completely so that it was pure just pink paint. I still wanted some of the original color to show through. So you can see that here, and then there's more solid color on this side, but it's not even, and I didn't want it to be that way. But I left the inside the way that it was. I did clean them up. They weren't dirty at all, but I always clean anything that I get from a thrift store. And you can see it has the Jello little logo on them. So let me see, did I get rid of it already? So they use, I think they use vintage buttons. I'm not positive. I didn't have any vintage buttons, but I have a ton of buttons. Actually, I have vintage buttons. The other one has vintage buttons on it, but the white ones are not vintage buttons. So I used, on this one, I did it pink and white and a little bit of gold. So I just used a stack of buttons. I just pulled out my drawer of white buttons. And there's some that are a little ivory color and some that are, you know, like pearlized. So I just use a variety of different white buttons. I have really long eye pins. So I used one of those because I also needed to hang something in the center. So I used a really long eye pin, strung all the buttons on it, made a loop at the top. And then this wood piece I have had in my stash for a while, and I still have a couple more of these. And then these, I think these came from Michael's. They're cute little molds of, like cookie molds, a Christmas tree and a star. And then I used this eyelash trim, this pink and gold eyelash trim on the top. And then to be the dangle that hangs in the center of the jingle bell, I used Artie cakes. So I have a huge a huge collection of Artie cakes. And so on the photo here, they used a key. So I don't know if they're vintage keys or not, but they used a key to be the dangle in the center of the bell. And initially I was going to do that, and then on the other one I actually did, but I used Artie cakes. So I just pulled, this one is one that I kind of like took apart and just used the tassel part of it. But it wasn't loud enough because only the chain would hit the side. So then I pulled this Artie cake piece here, and then I dangled the tassel from the center, and then it rings. I like the noise that it makes. So, and it wouldn't do that if I hadn't used a bigger piece than just the chain. So that's the first one. And then the second one, I just did it in traditional colors. Now these are all vintage buttons that I got from a thrift store. And I just pulled some red and some black ones and some brown. And then again, I strung them all up on a large eye pin. The dangle that I made here is I put it on a little lobster clasp. And then I just hung some little pieces of different Christmas little charms and things. So there's a light bulb, a little ornament, a little tree right here, some red jingle bells, and then this cute little lantern. And then I just put the lobster clasp into the loop that's on the top of the bell. And then this is a cute little bow that I had in my stash. I think these came from Target. I'm not positive though. And then this one does have a key, but this is also an Artie cake. But look how pretty that is with the cute little bling. And then I just hung an extra one so that it can make even more noise. So that one rings a little bit differently, but also, you know, when you're shaking it, you also hear the jingle bells from the little dangle that hangs down the side. So these are my metal or vintage inspired, Pinterest inspired projects that I've done for Christmas in July. These are inspired by Tart tin ornaments, which these are not Tart tins, but they are metal ornaments. And then these are actual vintage Jello molds. And some vintage buttons and some not. So those are that's my first video for Christmas in July 2020. And I will be back to share with you some more Christmas projects that I've created. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you're all having a really great day and that you're all being safe. Thank you. Bye.